Hello, and welcome to my recap of the Voyager Cup Regionals Edition. So, in case you're unfamiliar with the Voyager Cup, I did make a video previously going over the rules and the meta for this cup over in this video, which I believe is in this corner. It's in one of the corners. I don't remember which one it actually pops up in. But in an event to give a very brief recap of the rules, instead of the usual focus on certain types or on certain colors, this time around this tournament is focused on specific regions. So for your first 5 Pokemon of your team, each one must come from a different region, with the Alolan and Galarian forms being tied in with the Unova region for the 5th slot. And your 6th and final Pokemon is a wild card choice, so that one can come from basically any region. However, some of the more meta-specific Pokemon from each region are not able to be a wild card choice. For a more specific list on that, once again, you can go ahead and check out the previous video in one of these corners. So with the general rules for the Voyager Cup in mind, here's the team that I brought for the Hawai'i Regionals Tournament. So representing the Kanto region is the lean, mean frenzy machine himself, Venasaur, rocking Vine Whip as its fast move, and the community move Frenzy Plant, as well as Sludge Bomb as its charge moves. Representing the Johto region is the OG Metal Bird itself, Skarmory, sporting Air Slash as its fast move, and Sky Attack as its charge move. For the Hoenn region, we have the hyperactive middle child of the Slackoth family, Vigoroth, sporting Counter as its fast move, and the ever spammy Body Slam as its charge move. Representing the Sinnoh region, rising to prominence from the nearest magnetic lure, we have Probopass, sporting Spark as its fast move, and Rock Slide and Magnet Bomb as its charge moves. For the Unova region, we have a Pokemon that has actually made its appearance very recently in Pokemon Go, the trap Pokemon itself, Stunfisk, sporting Mud Shot as its fast move and Mud Bomb as its charge move. And finally, for the wild card pick, we went with the OG fairy before fairy types were even a thing, Clefable, with the ever infamous Charm as its fast move and Meteor Mash and Psychic as its charge moves. So with the team in place, it is finally time to get into the regional tournament. Now, this tournament hosted a whopping 8 participants, meaning that this tournament only lasted for around 3 rounds. And for round 1, we versed the trainer Moa. And definitely looking at their team, they're bringing in some solid, meta-relevant Pokemon with a very good amount of coverage. The 2 that definitely stand out to me in this team is the maxed out Azumarill and Bastiodon, which Azumarill acts as a fairly good offense with definitely some good coverage against a good amount of team, and Bastiodon acting as pretty much a defensive wall with a flame cannon attached to it, potentially. But nonetheless, one thing I did notice about their team is that half of them are susceptible to ground type attacks, so pretty much a lot of my faith was heavily reliant on my Stunfisk, and that was a little bit nerve-wracking because I never actually got the chance to play test Stunfisk before this match, so I wasn't entirely sure how well Stunfisk will perform as my ground type coverage for this tournament. But nonetheless, I still went in with 2 other Pokemon plus my Stunfisk and got myself ready for round 1 against Moa. So for the next round, we went up against a JJ10. Now, upon looking at their team, the one that always stands out to me first is probably the Altaria. And whenever I see Altaria, my initial reaction is to throw more steel at it. But another Pokemon that did catch a lot of my attention is the Lapras, who, if it's packing mostly Ice-type moves, will absolutely delete my Venasaur. Or if it's packing mostly Water-type moves, it'll absolutely delete my Stunfisk and potentially even my Probopass. And while my initial reaction to Altaria was to throw more steel at it, the addition of Toxicroak makes it a bit nerve-wracking because Toxicroak will practically delete any steel types that I throw out onto the ring. So nonetheless, I definitely had to be very careful as to which Pokemon I bring to these matches, because if I even start out with the wrong Pokemon, I'm fairly positive that pretty much means game over right from the start. But nonetheless, I tried to plan out my teams as best as I could and got myself ready for round 2 against AJJ10. So now it's time for the final round of the regionals. And the last trainer that we have to battle is Koroshia Ki. Now, truth be told, I have versed Koroshia Ki a couple of times in previous Silph Arena tournaments, and in practically all of those cases, I've, lost pretty heavily for that matter. And after taking a good long look at the team that he's brought in, I can say with absolute certainty that I had absolutely no idea how I even wanted to approach this team. So for this match, before we started, I took a couple of minutes to kind of recollect myself, go out to the living room, catch a little bit of fresh air, head to the kitchen, down a shot of soju, and then come back and prepare for the final round against Koroshia Ki. So that pretty much ends it for my experience with the Regional Cup. GG's go out to everyone who I versed against in this tournament, and congratulations once again to Koroshi Aki for winning the regional tournament. Nonetheless, that pretty much ends it for this video. If you liked it, you can go ahead and hit that like button, maybe even consider subscribing as well. And with all that said, I will see you guys in the next video.